and welcome to another episode of the Two Fans Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joshua Ament.
And I'm your other co-host, Ari Jesselson.
And we recapped some of the past week in our Monday recap. So now it's a Tuesday recap, which I don't know if it warrants the clown horns.
It does not.
Okay, it does not. So we're already wasting so much time. We have a lot to get to, so let's just jump into it. You okay?
Yeah, I just dropped my phone. So
okay. Let's see. So what else do we got here?
Has a quick story that came up. In the past that kind of went under the radar. So the Texas Rangers are going to allow 100% capacity on opening day.
Yes, I did hear that. Of course, Texas recently announced repealing its mask mandate, and it's pretty much fully opened up. If I'm not mistaken, of course, it can allow for a team like the Texas Rangers to open it up, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, the government allows it." Say it with me, everyone. We're still in a pandemic.
Indeed, we are. I know recently, Governor Abbott decided to open up Texas fully, saying, quote, "It is now time to open Texas 100%. Despite all that, it got a lot of backlash from people outside and inside of Texas, as even Texas right now is one of the worst cases of COVID in the U.S. They have over 2,700,000 cases, total confirmed cases of COVID. So for a state like Texas to open up fully, it's idiotic, it's irresponsible. And for a governor to make that call to open up fully when there's over 2 million cases in your country with thousands of deaths, I don't know what else you could say. We're still in a pandemic. That's why I say stay safe, wear a mask, and stay smart. Because no matter what your opinions are for the rest of it, you can't deny that we're still stuck in this scenario. COVID's not going away anytime soon. And with Texas doing something like this, COVID is going to stay around longer in the long run. So wear a mask and stay safe.
Yeah, I do know that, of course, like we said on Thursday, that we are looking to be on the upswing in terms of, or I guess on the downswing in terms of cases, in terms of things can be looking much better in the near future, in terms of handling the virus. But we're like we said, we're not there yet. We may be there in summer if we keep being smart and not opening places to 100%, especially not these stadiums. You saw the last time that a game was held at Globe Life Field, mind you, Justin Turner got a positive COVID-19 test. Of course, I can't say we know what exactly happened with the fans there too, but I wouldn't be shocked if there were some positives there.
I definitely would be either. And again, it's just idiotic and irresponsible to do so. If anyone's listening to this, just wear a mask. It's not that hard. You know it's not that hard. I know it's not that hard. We've been doing this for over a year. You might forget in the car. I forgot a few times, but that shouldn't be an excuse not to wear it.
Yeah, what more can we say? That again, like we said Thursday, it can be looking better. It is looking better, and it can be looking so much better if we just stay smart. If we don't indulge these max capacity, because yes, it's nice to want to have the same level of interaction we had before, but we're not there yet.
Yes, and for sports stadiums to open up, I like what Madison Square Garden did, where they opened up at 10% capacity. If you want to open up, do a very low number and see what happens through there. Opening up 100%, even 20% is not the right play to do. 10% is definitely fine enough, and just opening up fully, taking that one stretch in. At the end of the day, it just shows your greed, because and a lot of us know, that they're only opening up to make a profit and to make as much profit as they could. Again, it's just idiotic. It's stupid to do. And while we can't reverse the cause of anything in Texas happening, we both know, and a lot of us listening here know that it was not the right call to do. And just again, stay safe, stay smart, and wear the mask, because COVID's not going away for a long time. And what's happening with Texas now, it's not going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, this is just again like a pretty clear, like we have to think of it as better safe than sorry, especially when everyone's health here is at risk. Of course, I know that it's getting to be more common where stadiums are going to say, oh yeah, we're going to open maybe at 30, 40, 50% capacity. There's still places like in DC, National Park on opening day isn't going to have a single fan there. So we just, again, I would rather lose a little bit of, like, when it comes to making a profit or putting people's health at risk, like one of them seems pretty clearly the safer option than the other.
Definitely. There's not more I could agree with you on that, especially now.
All right, and now I guess it's time, because I guess I sort of kept saying that we need to show hockey a little bit of love, and then I kept sort of saying that enough to the point where I feel like we do show hockey enough love, but that's not going to stop me from talking about it, because we're at the midway point basically in the NHL season. Of course, it was shortened to 56 games this year, entirely within one of four divisions. And at this point, teams have played anywhere from 24 to 30 games, which averages out actually to 27, not 28, but 28 is half of 56.
Yes, that was math. And just going to the NHL season, a lot of interesting stuff has happened, and I think there is a lot to address in the season. So, just starting off, rookie Kirill Kaprizov. Unbelievable season. Definitely pronounced his name wrong. But amongst rookie, he's number one in points, goals, and assists. And for a lot of these categories, it's not even close. So that's all I could say about him. Definitely going to be a rookie of the year. Definitely going to be a threat in the NHL for a long time.
Yeah, man. I mean, of course, like I think about, again, as a Blackhawks fan, I'll think about like all the great sort of rookies and second year guys that they have, and this is even without sort of a third overall pick in Kirby Dach. But you have guys like Philip Kurashev and Brandon Hagel, just to name two. Ian Mitchell there too, but yeah, I want to apologize in advance because I'm going to be listing off a lot of different names, and I am bound to get one of them wrong. So apologies where apologies are due. But credit to Kirill Kaprizov leading the Wild with 26 points. Just for reference, right now only 33 players in the entire league have 25 points too. So when you're one of those one of the top guys, you're rookie, you're doing something right.
Oh, definitely. Not. I know for the NHL, we don't talk about it a lot, but just another great story. Patrick Kane. He's number 3 in points with 41. He had his 400th career goal a few weeks back. So
yeah, I talked about that. Where like what do you want me to say about Patrick Kane? You talk about Chicago sports in the 21st century. I probably should quote my dad for this one, because he gets credit for this quote. But when you're talking about the greatest Chicago sports player in the 21st century, it has to be Patrick Kane. With leading not just leading the Hawks to 3 cups and still going strong, even to this point today, leading the Hawks in a chase to get knocked out in the first round of the Central Division, because the Central Division, man, you just 3 powerhouses in there, in the Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers, and Carolina Hurricanes. All of them at this point have 40 points. And I know we bashed the point system on was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. But it is what it is. So we'll talk about it, because it's how it's ranked. But each of them, yeah, Lightning have 40 points in 26 games. Panthers have 40 points in 27 games. Hurricanes have 41 points in 27 games. I'll start with the Lightning first. Is Andrei Vasilevsky has been making a very strong case to win the Vezina Trophy as best goalie. He has a save percentage of .934. You want to guess what the top save percentage in the league right now is among qualifiers?
It is .955 with Peter Mrazek. He's also number one in goals against average.
I have a feeling because I looked at this. This may be where are you getting this?
I'm getting this off NHL.com.
Okay, because I got this double check with ESPN and Hockey Reference that it's .935 by Marc-Andre Fleury for Vegas Golden Knights. I'll love to talk about him a little bit later and the Vegas Golden Knights team leading the West. But of course, with the Lightning, you have Vasilevsky, the trio of Andre Palat, Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, all are 3 of the 33 with at least 25 points. Man, there are a lot of names and a lot of numbers here, and at least as far as the defense goes, Victor Hedman, Mikhail Sergachev have a combined 7.7 point shares. Just again for reference, only 20 defensemen have at least three point shares. Hedman and Sergachev are 2 of them, and also, if you don't know what point share is, it's basically the hockey equivalent to basketball win shares, or in baseball, wins above replacement.
Not much to add on that, but just a surprising person I saw on this list was Drew Doughty. He's top 10 in points. He has 22 for a defenseman. I kind of thought he retired. Not gonna lie, I feel like he's also 6 in goals. That's top 5, and just a name that I felt like kind of fell off. The contract was absurd, and I don't know, this is one of my favorite players to watch in hockey when I was younger. So just cool to see him being back on the top list.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, nice to see when you have any veteran like that. You want to talk about veteran leadership, though. You want to talk about the Washington Capitals right now. They are second in the East, 38 points in 27 games. And really, it's so weird because I was trying to look at them and see how are they good, because nothing really stands out on paper. They have 125 point scorer in Nicholas Backstrom and one 3-win share defenseman in John Carlson. And then other than that, the only thing that really stands out is as far as numbers go is age. But you have a lot of veterans there. Of course, you can't talk about the Capitals without talking about Alex Ovechkin. Of course, you have him. You have Backstrom. You have TJ Oshie, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Zdeno Chara, Carl Hagman, Lars Hagelin. I knew I would mess up a name. Lars Eller. The list goes on with just how much veteran leadership there is, and how cohesive a unit it ends up being.
Definitely, everyone knows how to play their roles, which is a big aspect for why they're doing so good. I feel like we're not seeing a lot of this, I'm the star mentality with this team. And everyone, like I said, the veterans know how to play their roles. They've been in this league for a while. Chara's having pretty good season. And Ovi and Oshie, their plus minus is in the negative. They're always going to perform. They're always going to do something. And even if they don't perform on the rink, they're always going to be that veteran leaders that everyone wants to see on a team.
Yeah, of course. I mentioned that they are second in the East. As far as first in the East goes, if you are a believer that defense wins championships, and I know, Ari right there is nodding, is pointing to himself and everything, then you are going to love what the New York Islanders are doing. Semyon Varlamov is ranks number 3 in save percentage with 929, if I'm not mistaken. 4 different defensemen in Ryan Pulak, Nick Leddy, former Blackhawk, Adam Pelech, and Noah Dobson all have at least 2.7 point shares. That is 2 different defensive lines that are all contributing so much. So really, when you factor those 2 both in, that you don't really need any prolific point scorer. Their top point scorer in Matthew Barzal only has 24 points, which is tied for 35th or 34th, I think. in the league. So nothing really stands out on offense, but you don't need to when you rank number 1 in fewest goals allowed per game with 2.17.
Exactly. Like I said, defense with championships. While offenses are definitely more flashier, the defense knows how to. The defense was going to hold that in no matter what. And Barzell is the only 20-point scorer on the team. The other guys close are Lee and Abril, who are tied for 19. So as we see, I'm not good at pronouncing names. That's a whole thing. But as we see, while the offense knows how to pursue, do nothing flashy. That's because the defense knows how to take control and just rack everything up for the opposing offenses. Like I said, defense wins championships. And without a defense, you need a defense to hold down that spectacular offense. And that's exactly what the Islanders are doing. And while I don't like the Islanders because I'm a Rangers fan, it is nice to see them doing good.
Yeah, of course, we've talked about sort of their attendance issues, but again, of course, this year that's not really a problem, and it doesn't affect the product on the ice. I'll circle back to the Central Division because I talked about the Lightning, but the Panthers and Hurricanes are right up there with them. As far as the Florida Panthers go, of course, they're really led by the two-headed monster Jonathan Huberdeau and Alexander Barkov. They have 32 and 31 points. Respectively, just on the fringe of the top 10. And then as far as the defense goes, their goaltending really is nothing special, but Aaron Ekblad and Mackenzie Weegar on defense have a combined 6.5 point shares as far as defense goes. And then lastly, of course, the Carolina Hurricanes. Their goaltending has been filled in pretty well recently by Alex Nedeljkovic. They really have one star player on defense. That's Dougie Hamilton. He's 3.7 point shares on D. That's sixth most among defensemen. And then while they don't have one prolific point scorer, they have Sebastian Aho, Vincent Trocheck, Jordan Stahl, and Andrei Svechnikov with 22 or more points each. One player who I was a little bit disappointed not to see on that list is Teuvo Teravainen, not just because he had a pretty good season last year, and not just because he's a former Blackhawk, but because I love to say the name Teuvo Teravainen.
Say that 3 times fast.
Teuvo Teravainen, Teuvo Teravainen, Teuvo Teravainen. There you go.
So just something that they're not doing well in the NHL. The Ottawa Senators. If you follow the Instagram Two Fans Podcast, I made a really bad meme about the Senators and how they can't win games. This was before they got their second win, and now they're in double digits. They have 10 wins, which is crazy to see because their offense is pretty decent. You got 3 guys who have 20 points, those being Drake Batherson, Brady Tkausku, and Thomas Chabot, who have 20, 21, 21, 20 respectively. A big issue is the plus minus. You only have 2 guys who are in the positive. They only have a plus minus of +2. So it's interesting to see how this is a team that could score and could do stuff, but there's just so much stuff, mainly on defense and mainly even sometimes on the offense, that stuff isn't really going through.
Yeah, I mean, especially here's the thing, of course, because the Senators are playing in that Canadian North Division. When you have 2 of the top scoring teams. When you look at, because we talk about like, I was talking about like sort of like 20, 25 point scorers. When you look at two different teams in the North, have a pair of players who are ranked top 5 in points. The only one of the top 5 not there is Patrick Kane. But the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course, leading the North Division. They have 40 points in 30 games. Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. Marner has 38 points. Matthews has 36. And Austin Matthews also leads the league with 21 goals. So that's really, of course, you could talk a little bit more there, but that's sort of the big driving force there. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, 36 points in 30 games. That's right now 3rd in the North. They have the top 2 point scorers in the league. Connor McDavid has 52 points. Leon Draisaitl has 45. And it's not just the offense. The defense has contributed too. the tandem of Darnell Nurse and Tyson Berry have a combined 8 point shares, which is the most between two teammates on defense in the league. Mike Smith, when in net, has had a top 5 save percentage. I think the biggest sort of problem there is that he hasn't been in net every single game. I think only like 13, 15, somewhere in that range, which I guess would have to be the biggest reason as to why they're not atop the division, because the numbers tell you that they have pretty much all their bases covered.
Oh yeah, and that's what makes it fun to watch. Just going back to the Canadian aspect of it, for points in the top 10 list, 5 of them are in Canada. That just shows you how impressive and how strong that division really is.
Yeah, not just 5 of the top 10, like we said, 4 of the top 5.
Yes, indeed. That just shows you again. That just shows you again that Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid, they're always going to perform. They're always going to be guys to step up. That's why they're 2 of the biggest names in hockey right now.
Yeah, one more thing. Again, here I am with the one more things. One interesting thing to note, not that it has any practical application, but the Oilers are the only team right now that has not yet lost a game in overtime. And we've also said that they're the third seed right now in the North. The number 2 seed, also with not the same level of star power, they have more strength in their numbers in the Winnipeg Jets. 36 points in 27 games, with 4 different 25-plus point contributors in Mark Scheifele, Nikolai Ehlers, Kyle Connor, and Blake Wheeler.
Ooh, I don't know what else you could add on it. Just impressive stats. I'm gonna be honest, I'm tired. I kind of blanked out for a little bit of that, but Blake Wheeler, that's a name I haven't heard in the longest time. So I just don't know what to add on top of that. But Blake Wheeler, oh god.
Yeah, all right. I'll spare you. I'll give you the cliff notes for the West. We'd mentioned the Wild with Kirill Kaprizov leading their team. Right there, you have Kaapo Kähkönen has been pretty well in net. Jonas Brodin, not too bad on defense either. The Colorado Avalanche not too far behind them. Wild have 35 points in 26 games. Avalanche have 34 in 26. The Avalanche are led by Mika Rantanen, leading the team with 28 points, and in net, Philip Grubauer ranks 4th in the league in terms of save percentage. But I teased a little bit before, but the Vegas Golden Knights taking the West by storm. We said Marc-Andre Fleury leading the league in save percentage, .935, right, like just a fraction of a fraction above Vasilevsky. But really, both of them have been absolutely stellar. As far as on defense, Shea Theodore and Alec Martinez, some two vets there. Leading the defense, a combined 6.5 point shares. And as scoring goes, they're led by Mark Stone. He has 31 points. Max Pacioretty also has 25. Yeah, sorry for that. Lightning. Great. Now I have to justify why the Lightning round wasn't in the Central, because they have the Lightning, and instead it was in the West with Golden Knights, and Knights are slow or whatever. But we can. I think we've shown hockey enough love for today.
Yeah, I think we have, but yeah, I think we did show hockey enough love. And if you want to talk about hockey, yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's hockey. They're always gonna get underloved. It's a great sport to watch, and it's just intense. If you love the NHL for its competitiveness and violence, you're definitely gonna love the NHL.
And we're not done talking about hockey, because you so conveniently gave me the segue that, of course, if you love hockey, next year you're going to be able to see it on ESPN. ESPN and the NHL over this week announced a 7-year TV deal, which would have NHL games not just on ESPN Plus where they are now, but also on ESPN, ABC, and Hulu. So also ESPN is broadcasting, in charge of the broadcasting these games, not just taking sort of the broadcast from local stations like they do with ESPN Plus right now, and they also get the rights to some of the more important events. The ABC will be broadcasting 4 of the next 7 Stanley Cup finals, as well as ESPN will also have stuff such as opening night, and if I'm not mistaken, the All-Star game as well. So who knows? Maybe we won't need to show hockey enough love, as much love, because the rest of sports media, especially when you have it on ESPN with such a wide reach, that they'll begin to pick up the slack and give hockey the respect it deserves.
Definitely, with a platform like ESPN, which, if I'm not mistaken, is also on Disney Plus, one of the highest growing streaming services. So you're definitely going to capitalize on that market, and there are going to be a lot of new fans coming up in the next few years.
And that theme, man, that I just can't wait to actually hear that in actual context. CBS didn't claim our Super Bowl video, and I won't run the same risk twice.
Yeah. But I will. Nah, hey, CBS, we're available. Our contacts now.
Yeah, let's not alert them to that video. I want to run as few risks as possible here.
My goals for a successful podcast were either getting bought out or sued, so I'm willing to take that risk.
Well, guess we can actually finally disagree on something.
So, I feel like this next topic, we don't. I mean, it's going to bring some controversy, and I think.
Yeah, I have a feeling, but no, it's worth talking about. So,
you sure you want to talk about it? We could just not address it. I feel like.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of debating whether we should or not, because on the one hand, it's something that shouldn't necessarily be ignored or accepted, especially when this is sort of something that I feel like is connects a little bit more to us, so we have a little bit more authority to speak on it. On the other hand, I don't want this turning into basically a weekly segment. Oh, someone said something racist.
Yeah, I get that, but it's also something I guess as Jews, we're both Jewish, you know what I mean? So I think that is an aspect for it.
Yeah, no, it's your call if we want to bring it up or not.
I'm down for whatever, because I don't mind. I think our stances are just going to be similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you know what? I feel like we should bring it up just for the sake of saying that the world needs more people like Julian Edelman.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down for that, because I actually have this thing open, because I knew if we were going to talk about.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's definitely something what it is. Because I'll keep this part for the recording because it sounds better for it.
Oh yeah, okay. Wait, you were just gonna leave the whole thing in? Hey, you know what? Why not? We'll leave this in too. You know what? Shows the.
Listen, it shows. Just going back, it shows that it's how times it's hard to speak about this. This is issues no one wants to bring up. It's not necessarily sleeping under the rug, but we all want to assume and just pretend that we kind of live in a perfect world, perfect society, perfect country, as that's what a lot of us are told. But in reality, there are stuff that happens every day. There are stuff that are bigger and smaller than this story. But because of Myers Leonard's position, where he is and what he is doing, it definitely did bring it more to a subject. And we did see this before in the past, like Deshaun Watson and Nick Cannon bringing stuff up like this. But
it was Deshaun Jackson. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. We saw this stuff with Deshaun Jackson quoting Hitler, and then we saw Nick Cannon saying some other stuff, and Deshaun was what was it? Hitler wasn't that bad. He said something like that. But
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. I guess I couldn't just block that out.
He quoted Hitler. I remember that, but we've seen this a lot. And just before we actually dive into it, yeah, it's hard to talk about. No one wants to talk about these issues. I don't know about, but it's just hard to talk about, because, especially, I guess for us, for a lot of people, This is something they never had to deal with. This is something that they never like experienced. They never had to learn about these issues. I'm not just talking about anti-Semitism. I'm talking about with Black people, with Asians, with women. You know, this is something that's happening with Muslims, with Indians. It's something that's all across the world, and we see this a lot in this country. But because a lot of people, you know, never were experiencing that, never had to talk about it, this is something that's a new issue for a lot of people. Unlike us who are Jews, you've been in New York, you're Jewish, I'm an Israeli immigrant, so Judaism is a big aspect in our lives. So it is a hard, but for other people, you know, they never had to deal with this. Most people were basically like, oh, those are the people who wear those funny hats. And yeah, you're not wrong, but there's more issues that happen with it. And it's just hard to talk about for a lot of people because a big issue is where do you start? What's right versus wrong? So just want to get it out. Myers Leonard, a Miami Heat player on a stream playing Call of Duty, he did say a racial slur. He was caught playing on Twitch. And I think a big aspect for why it was bad was because he hesitated while thinking of the word. I don't know if you actually saw the clip, but he hesitated before he said the slur, and that's where a big thing came out. Recently, he had an apology that said, quote, "I am deeply sorry for using an anti-Semitic slur during a live stream yesterday. While I don't know what the word meant at the time, my ignorance about its history and how offensive it is to the Jewish community is absolutely not an excuse, and I was just wrong. I am now more aware of its meaning, and I am committed to properly seeking out people who can help educate me about this type of hate and how we can fight it. I acknowledge and own my mistakes, and there's no running from something like this that is so hurtful to someone else. This is not a proper representation of who I am, and I want to apologize to the Arisons, my teammates, coaches, front office, and everyone associated with Miami Heat organization, to my family, to our loyal fans, and to other Jews to others in the Jewish community who I have hurt. I promise to do better, and I know that my future actions will be more powerful than my use of this word."
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I did see the clip, and of course, I'm not going to repeat it or anything of the sort. It was like, honestly, it was something like it was one of the things like I had to see and hear to believe, because like, especially like, I mean, when it's any racism, but especially when it's something that I actually like feel weird like not having to give a disclaimer that I can't speak on this because, well, I can on this, where I just like wanted so badly like for it not to be true or for it to be an exaggeration. But it wasn't. But the one thing I will say, probably honestly, even two things I will say that that can come out of this is, number one, it does make very, very aware that as much as we do talk about, for a reason, racism against African Americans and Asian American Pacific Islanders and indigenous peoples, that anti-Semitism still hasn't gone away either. Another thing it does, it reminds us that the world needs more people like Julian Edelman. Upon all this happening, he released an open letter to Myers Leonard via Twitter, saying in part, "I get the sense that you didn't use that word out of hate, more out of ignorance. Most likely you weren't trying to hurt anyone or even profile Jews in your comment. That's what makes it so destructive. When someone intends to be hateful, it's usually met with great resistance. Casual ignorance is harder to combat and has greater reach, especially when you command great influence. Hate is like a virus. Even accidentally, it can rapidly spread. I'm down in Miami fairly often. Let's do a Shabbat dinner with some friends. I'll show you a fun time. J.E." That of course, like, we are always nowadays so quick to condemn, and at initial thought, there's reason to. Of course, there is reason to expect consequence for these kinds of actions. And of course, the NBA has suspended and fined Leonard. But always, I feel after that sort of initial "you messed up, you must pay," that we have to look ahead to not just say it's over with and say, what can we do to educate people and to prevent this kind of action from repeating itself?
Yeah, and while I didn't like what the NBA did, I kind of felt like it was a slap on the wrist. He was fined $50,000 and suspended for the week, despite he is injured and cannot play. He's made over $59 million in 9 years, and this year he is making over $9 million. So it kind of really felt like a slap on the wrist. A big thing is your words have consequences. And to all those people like, oh, people today wouldn't survive a COD lobby, or oh, I use this word all the time. So what? It's still a racial slur. At the end of the day, the reason Myers Leonard is getting punished for a word that most people would admit to saying is because he has a big influence on people. He is someone who has that power to motivate and to, he's kind of an inspiration for a lot of people. I mean, he's just, when you look at, I guess, athletes, a lot of people do hold athletes to a high regard and a higher stance. And a lot of people, that's why you say, I want to be like Mike. You know, we always, a lot of people heard that I want to be like LeBron, I want to be like Mike. And sometimes those things carry around to racial issues. The thing is, I don't like him denying that he doesn't know what the word meant. I think that's poor taste. I think that's poor taste. And I think we both know that's wrong. The thing is, you got to admit to yourself when you are wrong. And what Julian Edelman is brilliant, because people do mess up. The thing is, you can't cancel culture them. You make sure they learn from their experience, make sure they get punished for it. If you cancel culture them, it's like, oh, they don't exist. But if you bring it up to them, if you bring it up to them, constantly shame them for it, they got to learn from it. You know, I love both of them because he needs to know, yes, I f***ed up. So how can I better myself? How can I make sure this doesn't happen? Not just for myself, but to people who think like me, to people who do use those words. How can I change for the better society?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Like the last thing, again, we want is for people just to sort of like treat this like an issue of like, oh, they're not going to accept me anyway, so I might as well just like keep saying it. Now we have to like forgive and not necessarily forget, but it's better to move forward than just to be stuck in what happened in the past. Much like with the Saints and Drew Brees. Now, of course, we said that Drew Brees was retiring, and both him and the Saints with their quarterback situations are each going in different directions now.
Yeah, it's something a bit weird. Just a quick announcement: Drew Brees is going to join NBC Sports as a broadcaster, so that's going to be interesting to watch. There's always this weird area: are they going to be a Tony Romo, or are they going to be a Jason Witten? And so it's just going to be fun to see that part.
Yeah, I think that this had kind of been in place for a while. That whenever Drew Brees retired, he had signed something with NBC to be sort of the I'm pretty sure the Chris Collin replacement. So that just makes Sunday Night Football even that much more must see TV. So I'm for one excited for that.
Yeah, it's something to be fun to watch. But the Saints have a bigger issue. What do you do as quarterback? Do you play the $140 million man with Taysom Hill, or do you bring back Jameis Winston, a guy who has phenomenal stats, but his interceptions make him a kryptonite to a Superman?
Yeah, I mean it is a situation with the Saints, not just with their cap woes. So you keep in mind that really, aside from like the team around them is still pretty good. Of course, you still have great offensive line, great weapons. I know you lost Emmanuel Sanders and Jared Cook, but you still have Michael Thomas, you still have Alvin Kamara, you still the defense I know hasn't been what it was a couple of years ago, but a lot of pieces are still there. That do you want to try to like salvage it, go in with the win now, or can you sort of turn this just into a long-term rebuild? Sort of have either Jameis or Taysom Hill as sort of like a holdover, think sort of 3-4 years down the road. But here I am getting way ahead of myself from what you asked me in terms of Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. I mean, it seems to me like Sean Payton just likes Taysom Hill that much more. So that's what I think is going to happen. Although who knows? Like maybe that year that Jameis Winston took to watch Drew Brees up close, it will pay off for him.
Definitely, and I'm a pretty big Winston fan. He's not my favorite guy to watch. There's a lot of things that off the field. Yeah, I kind of want to want to get in a fight with him. You know, he didn't do a lot in the past, but as a player, at least, you know, something that I really don't go by because I say you got to judge the man and the player. But as a player, remember 2019, he had 5,109 yards, 33 TDs. The biggest issue was that he had 30 interceptions. He isn't. So if he brings those numbers down, who's to say he's not a starter? And he got laser eye surgery. He saw Drew Brees in the backfield for a year, got a bench one with him. Might have got some information with Taysom Hill, who's also a decent quarterback. So who knows? Maybe Jameis actually learned some stuff. We know with Bruce Arians, he was given a 1-year warning that didn't pan out. Now that he's on the Saints, a division rival, who's to say? But I know my big thing with James Winston, I said in the past, who stole his job? Tom Brady. Who did Tom Brady leave? The Patriots. If Cam Newton didn't sign for the team, who's to say that Jameis Winston shouldn't try to compete for a backup job, or he could try to compete for the starting job against Cam Newton in the Patriots? It's a revenge fantasy from both sides.
Yeah, well, I think the Cam Newton deal kind of took that away. But hey, don't worry, my early quarterback carousel predictions didn't quite pan out either. I said Dak Prescott would go to the Colts, and Mitch Trubisky would go to the Patriots, and Carson Wentz would go to the Texans. Of course, now Wentz is with the Colts. Dak is still in Dallas. The Patriots have Cam Newton, so I doubt that they would go after Trubisky. Although it was a little bit disheartening to see Trubisky's name linked to the Washington team of football, because if you thought you couldn't succeed in Chicago, really what makes Washington that much a better offense?
They got Scary Terry, and they got Scary Terry. He's pretty good, you know.
Yeah, because that's all he needs. Just one receiver. Why don't you ask Allen Robinson how that went? Best of luck to Mitch and A-Rob both. Like, get out of there. You owe them nothing. Wave goodbye. You never have to even set foot in Chicago again. I would not blame you if you don't. Do we have any more positive notes? Because I want to end on a positive note, and we dragged it on too long.
What's it called? I'm very excited to see Gonzaga lose. You know, that's I guess it's more of a me thing, but I just love underdog stories, and I think it'll be hilarious if they lose. Not much really happened. I feel like the rest is kind of cuts that happen in sports, but yeah, there's not really much that happened in sport. I know we left off on a kind of a bummer note, but at the end of the day, this is a real topic that's happening all across the world, especially in this country. So this is issues that happen every day. So it's just interesting to even, you don't have to think about 24/7, but it's just think to say that, listen, this is happening in the world. How can I make a change to it? What could I do? Even if it's the bare minimum. The bare minimum is something for a lot of people, and it's a great stepping stool. I hope this Myers Leonard incident really shows you what stuff really happens like in different communities. And when we see across sports with Jeremy Lin being called coronavirus on the court, a lot of people protesting the BLM movement, and how a lot of players got hate for it. Racial issues are still a factor for the states. I just for people listening at home, those are real issues. And I know this is a bummer not to go off of, but yeah, these are just real issues that are in this country. So if you're doing the bare minimum, you know, at least you're making a change for the betterness of this future. And while change isn't a one-day process, it is something that all of us have to be together for.
Yeah, well, I guess that's as good a note as I'm gonna get to end off this sort of Tuesday recap. Although I probably should have, I should have said this before, but we're recording these like directly one after the other. So if something happened between Monday at 3:15 p.m. To Tuesday at well, actually, we're going to be recording pretty late on Tuesday for an episode Wednesday that I guess I kind of just spoiled. Do we want to still leave it a little bit ambiguous?
Not at all. We're going to be working with the great friends of Water Cooler TV tomorrow. Well, tomorrow being Tuesday night. Episode might go live Wednesday afternoon.
Well, this is Tuesday, so yeah, so it'll be up by the time you see this. It'll be up tomorrow. So that, yeah, time is weird.
This will be up after, the day after this episode goes live. These guys are amazing to work with. Go listen to their podcast, Water Cooler TV. Just great guys, and we'll keep the topic mysterious, but it's a fun one. It's not something as deep and compelling as something like today. It's just going to be a fun one, and we'd love to hear you guys from the comments, because this is definitely one of those episodes where you guys could leave your things down below.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, if you have anything you want us to talk about, or any questions or comments, oh man, this is a marathon session of recording, getting 2 days worth in the outro. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, you can always email us at 2fanspodcast@gmail.com, number 2, fanspodcast@gmail.com. We do this every single day, Monday through Thursdays, to Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. So until next time, we will talk to you then.